How to use deductive reasoning on the LSAT logical reasoning. Are you preparing for the law school admission test and wondering how to effectively use deductive reasoning in the logical reasoning section? Let's break it down step by step. Deductive reasoning is a key skill tested on the LSAT. It involves starting with general premises that are assumed to be true and applying them to specific cases to reach a conclusion. First, it is essential to understand the structure of deductive arguments. A typical deductive argument consists of a major premise, which is a general rule, a minor premise, which is a specific fact, and a conclusion that logically follows. For example, if we say that all endangered species cannot be hunted, and the pika is an endangered species, we conclude that the pika cannot be hunted. The conclusion must follow if the premises are true. Next, when you encounter a question, identify the premises and the conclusion. Read the argument carefully to distinguish between the general rules and specific facts. Look for indicator words like all, must, cannot, or therefore that signal deductive reasoning. After identifying the premises, test the validity of the argument. Ensure that the conclusion necessarily follows from the premises without any logical gaps. Even if the reasoning seems valid, remember that the argument might be unsound if the premises are questionable. For instance, if a premise states that all kids are required by law to go to public school at age 6, this may not be universally true, leading to flawed conclusions. Deductive reasoning is particularly useful in must-be-true questions on the LSAT. These questions requiring you to select conclusions that are unquestionably supported by the premises. Use deductive logic to eliminate answer choices that are possible but not guaranteed. For example, if the premises state that Jennifer always takes the train when her car is in the shop, and her car is currently in the shop, the conclusion is that Jennifer will take the train. Be on the lookout for common logical fallacies and flaws. Deductive reasoning demands strict logical validity. Watch for errors such as denying the antecedent or making unwarranted assumptions. For example, concluding that a nation does not need to reduce spending or increase revenue simply because it does not wish to prevent a fiscal deficit is a logical error. Practice translating verbal arguments into logical form. This means converting arguments into formal logical statements or syllogisms. This practice helps clarify reasoning and spot invalid conclusions or identify the correct deductive inference. Finally, remember that law school trains students to analyze statutes, cases, and legal principles. This often requires applying general legal rules to specific facts. The LSAT logical reasoning section mirrors this process by testing your ability to draw certain conclusions from given premises, a skill that is essential for legal analysis and argumentation. Using deductive reasoning effectively on the LSAT logical reasoning section means carefully identifying general premises and specific facts, ensuring the conclusion necessarily follows, avoiding logical fallacies, and practicing must-be-true inferences. This approach aligns with the analytical rigor expected in law school and legal practice.